Hello there. Right then, this is the back of my garage, the back wall, which was a window at the back. However, the window frames are rotten. One of the panes of glass was smashed. It just looks shite, and ultimately it was leaving the place not as secure as I want it to be. And I think what I'd like to do next, or what I have done, is put up some OSB board. Now, I know I could have left the walls as they were, painted them white, and then just carried on as I was, but the bench is going at the back, and I know I'm going to want to put up shelves, brackets, places to put stuff, hang stuff, so I can keep my bench clear. So 18mm OSB board is what I've gone for, and I went for this material because it is rough and ready, let's be honest. It's still fairly presentable, but if you dent it, chip it, or screw into it, remove the screws afterwards and look at it, you can't really notice it. It just sort of blends in, and that is what I want. And let's be honest, it's a piece of piss to drill into. It's not trying to like drill into a concrete block where you've got it on hammer and it's wandering slightly. You put up whatever you've got and it's slightly off level and it pisses you off forever. It's easy. So before installing the OSB to the wall, I did put some vapor barrier behind it and then fitted it all up to the wall, screwing through the boards with some concrete screws. So all I have to do with those is drill through the board, then a 6mm hole in the wall, and providing you get enough depth and all of the concrete dust out of the hole, you can just smash those screws straight in with an impact driver. Job done. With the OSB on the walls, I could now start to think about shelving. And the first question is, what do I want to put on the shelving? What is it that's in my way? And looking at the bench, there's obviously quite a bit of stuff there. For the most part, it's things like containers of liquids, aerosols, glues, cordless drills, all the power tools and the blow molded carry cases, tubs of screws, all that sort of stuff needs to be off the bench. So after gathering all the things that I'd want to put on the shelf and finding the tallest of those, I could then start to think about how much space I'm going to need between the bottom shelf, the top shelf, and the ceiling of the garage, if you like, which is the rafters. I know I don't want metal brackets like these, so now I've got my measurements in mind, I can set about making my own out of wood. So I'll get those dimensions drawn straight onto the bench top, just to see what works best. And here's some scrap wood, just so I can visualise what it's going to look like. And happy that I've got some final dimensions in mind, I can get my hairy ass down to the local DIY store and pick up some wood and make a start. So here we go then. Step 1, a cup of tea. You know the rules. Next up, some of the plain square edge timber, which I'll cut to make my 45-degree brackets. So on the left hand side will be the wall, and the top part is the upper shelf. Here is where I realised I needed support between the lower shelf and the top of the bracket. Most of these cuts I'll be doing using the miter saw, and that includes cutting the notches for the support and for the lower shelf, because at the time of this I didn't have my bandsaw. So while that is fairly tedious and time consuming, you can get a reasonably good finish with that actually, and now it's just a case of checking the OSB will fit into the lower slot, which will be for the lower shelf, and repeating it 4 times. Batten on the wall, making sure it's level, plenty of screws to hold that against the OSB. With that done, I can put the upper OSB shelf on and fit the first of my shelf supports. And they are held in place with 2 screws, as shown, checking everything's level as I go. Repeat that 4 times and you are getting somewhere. Now you can slide the lower shelf into the slots and make sure that's central, and mark out where you need to notch that out so that it engages nicely and sits against the wall. Now it's time to get your shelf supports in, so you can slip those into the upper notch and a couple of screws to secure that. Smash a few more up and you're pretty much done. Now I've got the shelves I wanted and a clear bench. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.